Two black teens were arrested on Sunday in connection with a targeted mass shooting that killed 5 members of the same family and wounded 2 others in East St. Louis, Illinois. And welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience, Manifest Your Truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. Well, this is a tragic story that just took place, and there are so many elements and layers to this that I'm going to try to get to in this video. And where are we headed as a culture in America, as a black culture, as a civilized culture, as a moral and ethical culture in society? We have a chasm of young people, of young urban black people that are headed in the complete wrong direction. And I've been saying it in many videos, we need to raise our voices one voice at a time. There are too many fatherless homes, inept inner city public schools, the opioid crisis, helplessness, hopelessness, untreated mental illness that is going on in today's society, that we are reaching a melting point or a boiling point where there is going to be a volcanic reaction here in our urban cities, where the level of gun violence is getting to be in an unimaginable number, and our public safety is at risk each and every day. And these kids that are committing these heinous crimes, even including murder, are getting younger and younger and younger. This case is about a 15 and a 16-year-old. So a 15 and 16-year-old suspects were taken into custody at Holton State Park, a recreation area east of the city. The Illinois State Police Director, Brendan Kelly, said at a Sunday news conference, but there had not been any had not immediately been formally charged with the crime. These 2 young people got arrested on Sunday after this heinous mass shooting and multiple family members that got killed. They're even saying that one of the shooting suspects is related to some of the people that he shot. So these alleged acts of horrific violence, taking this number of lives here in this community, is terrible. It's evil, but it will not keep this city down, Officer Kelly said. Authorities, so this is what happened. Authorities said that at least one of the suspects was related to at least one of the victims, but declined to comment even further. And if you look at some of my videos, I talk about the word love. You don't get to ask God what family you're going to be bestowed upon and born into. It just happens. But love is an action and a verb, and it has to be shown to you. People can verbally say they love you, but it's way more important. It's easy to say I love you, but it's hard work to show it in an action and a verb. And we can come from these families, whether this person is your uncle, cousin, grandmother, grandfather. That does not mean that they automatically love you. And evidently there must have been a ton of chaos and disruption going on in this family for one of these teenagers to decide to commit this kind of a heinous crime. Officer Kelly said the shootings unfolded in 3 different locations around East St. Louis. Officer Kelly declined to comment on how the teenagers may have obtained the guns. Illinois has some of the strictest state-level gun laws in the United States. And that's a whole nother issue. The United States of America is number 1 in 2 categories. The number of guns that are legal and not legal on the streets and in homes in the United States of America. There are more guns in the possession of people legally and unlegally in the United States than there are people in the United States. So if there's like 320 million to 350 million people in the United States, they're saying the statistics and the estimates show that there are about 400 million guns that are operating on our streets and in the homes of America. There are more guns in America on American soil than there are people. And the United States is number 1 for mass incarceration of its citizens. So 2 of the shooting victims were taken to a hospital in the neighboring city of St. Louis, Missouri. So for those who don't know, East St. Louis is really in Illinois. It is divided by the Mississippi River, and then St. Louis is just north of it. So 2 of the shooting victims were taken to the hospital. State police have identified the slain family members. Now let's go through who the family members that got shot. We're talking about Clary L. May, 49 years old, Devin D. May, 24, Patricia May, 74 years old. This has to be somebody's grandmother. These kids are 15 and 16 who are the alleged suspects. They shot and killed a 74-year-old woman. Quentin L. Thompson was 21 years old, and Shania W. Thompson, 25. There were no bystanders injured in the attacks, Officer Kelly said. He said that quintuple shooting events had occurred in Illinois state history, but nonetheless were very rare. So there have been multiple shootings that have occurred. I think I did a story on one that happened in Peoria, Illinois, a year or 2 ago. A black guy, I think he allegedly killed about 8 of his family members about a year or 2 ago. You can look that story up on one of my videos. So they said that Sunday's targeted killings fit the definition, and they're calling this, and I've never heard of this term before, but they're calling this family annihilation. So Sunday's targeted killings fit the definition of a type of crime known since the 1980s as a family annihilation. Family annihilation. Most of those cases involve a male armed with a gun who kills multiple close family members. And when you're seeing this, here we go. We talk about the love zone. Love is a verb and an action. Anybody can say it, but they have to show it to you on a continuous, consistent basis. The other part is you don't get to ask God whose family you're going to be born in. And many of our families in America are very in a decimated, dilapidated, depressing kind of existence, just living from day to day. And does not have a purpose in life. The most important thing that the 2 things that are most important for human beings today that we should try to utilize as our utility and our instrument is our time and having a purpose in life. Many of these young people today are walking around like zombies in a hopeless and helpless state of spirituality, positivity. They have a godless base in their existence and an empty soul. And 2 of these pillars that are really destroying our country today is the opioid crisis, even the marijuana that is being smoked today, the hybrids and all of this kind of, the new kind of marijuana that's out here today. It's even different than back in the 70s and 80s. It is highly toxic, highly addictive. And the second component here is untreated and undiagnosed mental illness. There is a lot of mental illness, untreated and undiagnosed mental illness that's going on, which carries into a scenario that when stressful situations happen in life, people don't know how to deal with conflict resolution and conflict mediation, even from an intelligence standpoint, a maturity standpoint, and let alone if they're not stable mentally. This life in this world shoots a lot of arrows at you, and you have to be sophisticated enough to know how to duck the arrows. American communities have historically characterized family annihilations as isolated tragedies, but a July 2023 Indianapolis Star investigation found that these family annihilations were occurring across the U.S. every 5 days on average, raising questions about why the country has not sought a nationwide strategy to dissuade this particular type of crime, this family annihilation. They're saying that in the United States, it's happening every 5 days on average, where somebody is killing multiple family members. So many of the U.S.'s mass murders defined as cases in which 4 or more victims are slain. This is called family annihilation. The killings in East St. Louis were at least the 12th mass murders reported in the United States so far in 2026. So it's been 11 other times that something like this has happened in 2026 already. According to the Nonpartisan Gun Violence Archive, at least 7 of those fit the definition of a family annihilation. Additionally, as of Monday morning, there had been more than 240 mass shootings across the U.S. this year. Records maintained by the Gun Violence Archives show. So there have been 240 mass shootings already this year. Mass shootings are defined as cases in which 4 or more victims are either wounded or killed or murdered. America's perennially high numbers of mass shootings have prompted calls from lawmakers and advocates for more substantial federal gun control laws, but Congress has not implemented such restrictions. Do we need more gun control laws, or do we need less guns on the streets? It's counterintuitive, and they go hand in hand. The more guns that are out here, the more laws that you're going to have to provide. The less guns that are out here in the streets, accessible to all kinds of people, the less laws you would have to have. And Illinois has some of the more restrictive state level gun laws and requires gun buyers to carry a firearm ID card. Notably, East St. Louis is right on the state's border with Missouri, which does not require permits to buy or carry firearms. And Missouri has no licensing system and does not regulate the transfer or storage of private firearms. So there are some real issues in this story, and this unfortunate circumstance that happened on Sunday. It has a cautionary tale of untreated mental illness, the opioid crisis, too many guns on the street, too many guns in the wrong hands, and there is way too much gun violence that's being perpetuated in our urban cities. People not having the understanding and the consciousness about conflict resolution and conflict mediation, how to work through your problems each and every day without committing some kind of heinous crime against another human being. We are reaching a point of inhumanity in this godless, uncivilized society. There's an entire generation that's going to be led to the graveyard and to the prison system. Mass incarceration at the rate that we're going. The United States has by far the most civilian-owned firearms of any country, both in total numbers and per capita. Estimates put U.S. civilian gun ownership at roughly 120 firearms per 100 residents, meaning there are more guns than people. No other country comes close. Yemen is a distant second with around 50 guns per 100 people. In total numbers, Americans own somewhere around 390 to 400 million firearms, more than the next several countries combined. So in relationship to this gun violence, the U.S. also has the highest incarceration rate in the world. Roughly 1.9 to 2 million people are incarcerated in the United States in any given time. That's a rate of about 530 to 600 people per 100,000 people. So this unfortunate mass shooting that took place yesterday on Sunday is a template, or has the temperament of where we are headed as a society if we don't deal with untreated mental illness, the opioid crisis, helplessness, and homelessness.